Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to get specific about a Halloween blow mold. And you're looking at it. This is Big Jack. A lot of times on my channel I'll generalize with my blow molds, categorize them by the holiday, try to touch upon who made it, and when it was made. And sometimes that's all you can do because there's not a lot of information to be found. But on this specific one, I have a decent amount of information, so I thought it'd be a great opportunity to share it with my channel. So Halloween's around the corner. This is 2024. It's early October. It's great weather. I got my blow molds out, getting them ready to sit in the yard. So this is Big Jack. General Foam Plastics made this. These are two different items. The bottom one is a tabletop blow mold lantern, and the top one is a traditional candy bucket. All right, so look at this. Is a traditional candy bucket. Now it's known in the catalog as Big Jack. There's also a Little Jack. This is Big Jack, 8.5 inch tall. This is also known as the Bandit mask, jack-o'-lantern. There's a few different variations that we'll talk about in a minute, but let's take a closer look. So you see here as the hair, we have leaves on our Bandit, on Big Jack. This is the very iconic, this Bandit mask. Iconic touch on the back. There's nothing, there's no embossing on the bottom. Also, there's no embossing. There's no maker's mark. There's a couple indentations for where you could put your handle. This one was just thrown on there. So that's Big Jack, the pumpkin blow mold candy bucket. And here we have Big Jack, the tabletop blow mold. Now this guy I found recently at an antique mall. I was delighted. It made my week to find this. I collect, I sell some, but I collect the older ones. And this I found last year at a thrift store, I believe. This is a tabletop blow mold Big Jack by General Foam Plastics. These date from around, that's the one thing that's a mystery. If you know for sure, leave a comment. There's a great resource online. It's just like the blow mold database. If you Google blow mold makers, it'll pop up. It's like a blue logo. I forget. I'll try to find it and leave it in the comments. And it's got various makers, various holidays. It's pretty comprehensive. So I found this Big Jack. This is the tabletop blow mold. There is a little bit of information here, as far as what watt or volt, indoor use only. Use a 7.5 watt bulb only. Indoor use. That's it. But it doesn't say General Foam Plastics. There's no year, no made in the USA. But I found these in the catalog, so I can confirm these are Big Jacks. But most folks call these, the Bandit mask, pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern. So these, they're collectible, of course. These are going up in value. My plan in life is to hoard these older ones, and I do sock away a modern one. I'll go to Target once a year or whatever, or Walmart. And I'll buy a new one for $1, and I'll throw it in the garage. But I plan to time that, before I kick the bucket, I plan to sell my blow mold candy buckets, and pass that, the money. I don't know what I'll do with it, just give it away or whatever. Hopefully that's a long time away, but who the hell knows? But these go up in value every year. I mean, just look at the paper mache pumpkins. I wanted to buy one. I have one I bought last year, my one and only one that I love. I wanted to buy another one this year, but I just couldn't afford it. They're $200, $300, $400, $500 in great condition. And if you want one that's been kicked down the hill in the mud, that could be around $100. So they're not cheap, These are still affordable. You can find these out in the wild, and they're a steal. I've never found a paper mache pumpkin in the wild. I hope I will, but that's never gonna happen, I don't think. These you can find out in the wild, and these go up in value. These are around probably $50, give or take. Probably on the north side of $50 a piece. Maybe the tabletop could be a bit more rare. I collect the candy buckets as well as the tabletop blow molds in Halloween and a bit of Christmas, but I focus on Halloween. So let's talk about the variations now. So these are both the no paint leaf or leaves variation. See, these leaves have no paint. There are also, collectors, just so you know, colored variations. So there's a green leaf variation where these leaves are green, a bit more realistic. And there's also a black leaf variation where these leaves are black, a bit more Halloween-esque. And then there's the no paint variation. Like that's that's the basic model, the economy model, and that's these two. Now, is there a value difference in those? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't have those variations. I'm sure maybe some astute collector could chime in on that. I love these. I love the aesthetics of this, just the janky spray paint that someone, half-ass yet lovingly, did at some plant somewhere in America. These are made in the USA. What else? I love how these fade. I know I'm actually fading some on purpose, some modern ones right now in the sun. I'm bleaching them just to get them white, just to see what I can do with them. But I love how the older ones have faded patches. It just, to me, confirms they're old. Look at that aesthetic. I don't mind it at all. This one's a little bit more deep orange. This one's got some faded marks. So again, these are about 8.5 inch tall, around 9 inch diameter. There's also a Little Jack. I don't have Little Jack. Again, that online resource, that blow mold resource, it's a real just common name, like blowmold.com or something like that. You could find it super easily, like a top 4 or 5 results in a search. But they have a comprehensive list of general foam plastics. It's pretty remarkable. If you could pin a year on this, that'd be great. So on that website, it had this billed as 1960s and 1970s, as far as, well, I guess, when it appeared in the catalog. So I guess it's safe to say this first appeared in the 1960s. What year specifically, I don't know. Maybe you know. These were before my time as far as being a little kid and trick-or-treating. These were probably, you would see these like in your cousin's garage hanging up, but they weren't new. As I was a kid, the early mid 80s, late 80s. These weren't new at that point. These were, you'd find these, at garage sales, I guess. But now they're awesome. These are awesome, iconic. The Bandit mask, in the catalog is known as Big Jack. So these are General Foams plastic. What do you think? Pretty cool, huh? So that's a look at these two iconic, now we know a little bit more, right? General Foam plastic, iconic Big Jack blow mold Halloween tabletop, lantern, and the traditional candy bucket. Thanks for checking in.